Imagine falling endlessly, through darkness deeper than any hell. You plunge past Hades, past layers of mist so cold they burn, through the silent void of Erebus, and still you haven't reached the bottom. For 9 days and 9 nights, you descend into an abyss without light, without time, without life, only eternal punishment. This is Tartarus. Not merely a place, but a primordial force, a nightmare born from the raw chaos of the ancient Greek cosmos. Tartarus existed before Zeus, before the sun ever rose, before the underworld had a name. It is not just below Hades, it is beneath it, as far below the underworld as the sky is above the earth. This is not where souls go to rest. This is where gods fear to tread. Where the titans scream in eternal chains. Where Sisyphus rolls his stone, again and again, without end. And where all who dare defy fate are broken and bound forever. So what is Tartarus? Who was cast into this unfathomable pit? And why, in a universe brimming with gods and monsters, was such a place, so terrifying, so final, even necessary? Join me, as we descend layer by layer into the depths of the abyss, where immortality only means the pain lasts forever. Part 1. Where did Tartarus come from, and what is its role in the cosmos? In Greek mythology, the universe began not with order, but with chaos, a swirling void of raw potential. From this primordial chaos emerged the first divine entities: Gaia, the Earth Mother; Uranus, the sky; Eros, the force of love; Nyx, the night; and then came Tartarus, the abyss. But Tartarus is not a place. Not a whole. Not a region. It is the abyss itself, an infinite chasm within the fabric of existence, untouched by the first light, unreachable by time itself. There is no exit from Tartarus, because none have ever returned. And Tartarus is no mere prison for mortal souls. It is the prison of gods. Of titans. Of those who dared defy the cosmic order. When Zeus overthrew his father, Cronus, and led the new generation of gods in the great Titanomachy, the war against the elder titans, Tartarus became his ultimate weapon. The defeated were cast down, mountain-sized beings like Iapetus, Hyperion, and Creos hurled into the void, shackled in unbreakable adamantine chains, watched over by monstrous beasts beyond imagination. Tartarus became the supreme deterrent. Even the gods themselves knew, no matter how powerful, no one who challenged fate escaped the abyss. Because the bottom of the cosmos is not for the weak. It is for the proud. Part 2. The souls imprisoned and the horrors of eternal punishment. Sisyphus, the trickster who fooled even death. Sisyphus, the cunning king of Corinth, was infamous for his wit and deceit. Once he chained Thanatos, the god of death, preventing mortals from dying, throwing the world into chaos. And when he was dragged to Hades for his crimes, he tricked Persephone with crocodile tears, claiming his wife had failed to bury him. She let him return to the living. He never came back. When the gods finally recaptured him, they cast him into Tartarus. There he was condemned to push a massive boulder up a steep hill, only for it to roll back down, every time, just before reaching the top. No blood. No torment of the flesh.
Only humble futility.
A punishment that crushed the soul, not the body. Tantalus, the king who defiled the divine feast. Tantalus was once beloved by the gods, even welcome to dine on Mount Olympus. But arrogance turned to horror, he stole the food of the immortals, and worse, served his own son, cooked and carved, as a test of divine wisdom. The gods were outraged. Zeus struck him down to Tartarus. His punishment? He stood in a clear pool of water, surrounded by branches heavy with fruit. But whenever he bent to drink, the water vanished. When he reached for food, the branches recoiled. Forever hungry. Forever thirsty. Forever tormented by what was just out of reach. So cruel, it gave rise to a word, tantalizing. Ixion, the betrayer who desired a goddess. Zeus once spared Ixion from execution, offering him divine mercy. But Ixion repaid him with lust, for Hera, Zeus's queen. To expose him, Zeus crafted a cloud in Hera's shape. Ixion fell into the trap, literally. For this unforgivable sin, he was bound to a flaming spinning wheel, whirling endlessly through the void of Tartarus. No ground.
No sky.
Just fire, betrayal, and an eternal spin of desire and disgrace. The Titans, fallen gods of an old world. After the great Titanomachy, Zeus overthrew Cronus and the ancient order of Titans. Those who refused to yield were cast into the abyss. In Tartarus, they were shackled with divine chains, guarded by the monstrous centimines, beasts with 100 arms. Immortal, they could not be killed. So they suffered forever, stripped of glory, buried in shadow, breathing shame with every breath. Tartarus did not destroy them. It contained them, as a warning to any god who dared rise against fate. The guardians of Tartarus, keepers of the realm of no return. Tartarus, terrifying in its own right, is not merely a prison. It is a one-way gate to oblivion, watched over by some of the oldest and most nightmarish beings in Greek mythology. Not all souls are honored with damnation in this abyss. But those who fall here never escape. Not just because of the depth, but because of its monstrous, merciless guards. The Hecatoncchares, the hundred-handed ones. Born of Gaia and Uranus, the three brothers, Briareus, Cottus and Gyges, were giants with 50 heads and 100 arms each. So terrifying in form, they were imprisoned by their own father. But when Zeus rose to power, he freed them, and they helped him bring down the Titans. In return, they pledged themselves as the eternal wardens of Tartarus. Each of their 100 arms moved like mountain storms. A single blow could level armies. Their roars shattered the silence of the underworld like earthquakes. They never sleep. They never tire. And they know no mercy. Every gate in and out of Tartarus lies under their watch. They don't just guard the damned inside, they tear apart any soul foolish enough to approach from beyond. Cerberus, the three-headed hound of the underworld. Though most closely tied to Hades, Cerberus also prowls the deepest thresholds near Tartarus. Born of Typhon and Echidna, he is a creature of annihilation. 3 snarling heads, a mane of writhing serpents, claws like iron, and a breath that reeks of rot and death. Cerberus allows the dead to enter, but none to leave. Those who attempt to escape their punishment must face his 6 jaws of doom. No soul has ever succeeded. He cannot be bribed, reasoned with, or soothed. Cerberus is the living boundary between the world of the living and the eternity of despair. The Erinyes, Furies, goddesses of vengeance. While not permanent residents of Tartarus, the 3 Erinyes, Alecto, Tisiphone, and Megira, often descend into its depths. Born of Gaia, from the blood of Uranus when he was struck down by Cronus, these sisters do not punish with swords. They punish with whispers. They hiss secrets into your ears, scream in your mind, claw at your sanity. They haunt the guilty, not for days, not for years, but forever. Each of their cries burns like acid through the soul, dissolving peace, shattering thought. They seek out murderers of kin, betrayers of gods, violators of cosmic order. When the Furies arrive, even the shadows tremble.
No escape. No pardon. No forgetting.
The guardians of Tartarus do not exist to be loved. They exist to remind us that the laws of the cosmos have limits, and crossing them is to forfeit your soul. Whether mortal or god, king or nameless wretch, once you step through the gates of Tartarus, your power means nothing. Only punishment remains. Only darkness. And the unending growl of something ancient, echoing from the deepest pit of the world. Tartarus in legend, and its legacy in modern culture. Tartarus, the deepest realm of the Greek underworld, was never just a physical space in mythology. It was, and still is, an eternal symbol of absolute punishment. It appears across countless myths, tied to the downfall of rebellious gods, divine traitors, and mortal souls who committed the unthinkable. Tartarus, the battlefield of giants. One of the oldest legends linked to Tartarus is the Titanomachy, the war between the old gods, the Titans, and a younger generation led by Zeus. When Zeus and his siblings, Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter and Hestia, overthrew their father Cronus, the defeated Titans were not destroyed. Instead, they were cast into Tartarus, locked away for eternity. There, watched by the monstrous centimines, they would never again see light nor feel the passage of time. Zeus himself sealed the gates of Tartarus with a dome of solid bronze, 3 layers of divine locks, and gave the centimines full authority to guard them. From that moment on, Tartarus became more than a prison. It became the cosmic vault for any force that dared threaten the divine order. Tartarus in other myths. Tartarus does not appear in only one tale, it haunts many. Typhon, the most fearsome monster in Greek mythology, born of Gaia as vengeance for the imprisoned Titans, was defeated by Zeus and buried beneath Tartarus, forever crushed under a mountain. Sisyphus, who tricked death and escaped the underworld, was condemned to push a boulder up a hill for all eternity, his struggle trapped in Tartarus as proof that defying fate is futile. Tantalus, who dared to cook and serve his son's flesh to the gods, was imprisoned here too, forever surrounded by water and fruit he could never touch, in an endless torment of thirst and hunger. Ixion, who tried to seduce Hera, was lashed to a flaming wheel, spinning forever through the void of Tartarus. These are not simple punishments, they are tailor-made torments, sculpted to reflect each soul's guilt and nature. The modern shadow of Tartarus. Tartarus never died with the old myths. It lives on, in literature, film, religion, and psychology, as a powerful metaphor for hell, judgment, and the abyss of despair. In medieval and Renaissance literature, Tartarus inspired visions of the deepest levels of hell, like Dante's Inferno, where the worst sinners fall into an icy, silent pit. In modern pop culture, Tartarus remains the prison of the most powerful villains. Thanos in Marvel. Cronus in Percy Jackson. Cerberus in God of War. Even in psychology, Tartarus is used as a metaphor for the lowest depths of the mind, where we bury trauma, shame, and the darkest corners of the human soul. Tartarus is not the afterlife for all. It is reserved for those whose sins defy divine law and human morality alike. It is the most enduring symbol of this truth. Every action has a cost. And for those who cross the line, there is a place where light cannot reach, where even gods are silenced, and where punishment becomes eternal. When light cannot reach the bottom. Tartarus, the deepest pit of the Greek underworld, is not merely a place of punishment. It is where the true nature of power, sin, and the impossibility of redemption is laid bare. Unlike Hades, where souls are judged and find rest, or at least proportionate punishment, Tartarus is not for the ordinary dead. It is reserved for those who dared to challenge the cosmic order. Those who believed they were greater than the gods. Those who thought they could outrun fate. And in that place, there is no salvation. Tartarus holds the Titans, creators of the world who defied divine command. It chains Typhon, born of Gaia, the chaos and wrath of a betrayed earth. It buries Sisyphus, Ixion, and Tantalus, symbols of arrogance, lust, and unforgivable sin. Every story from Tartarus is a living metaphor, a reminder of the price paid when gods or mortals cross the line. Tartarus, an eternal lesson. Tartarus is not simply hell, as we commonly imagine it. In the heart of Greek civilization, a culture that celebrated reason, art, and democracy, Tartarus stood as the ultimate expression of cosmic justice. No god is too powerful to escape punishment. No soul can outrun the weight of its own actions. If heaven is the reward, then Tartarus is the endpoint of pride, betrayal, and self-destruction. It is where unchecked power collapses under the weight of its own arrogance. A message for our modern world. Today, we may no longer believe in tridents and golden chariots beneath the sea. But we still believe in consequences. We still understand that every action, whether political greed, emotional betrayal, or social injustice, leaves a mark. We may never be thrown into Tartarus. But each of us may fall into our own private abyss, guilt, regret, the torment of conscience. Tartarus is a symbol, eternal and unflinching. It reminds us. Nothing remains hidden forever from the light of justice. No one defies the divine laws, without facing a reckoning. And in the end, all power, if not rooted in morality, will collapse into the very darkness it once commanded. Thank you for exploring Tartarus with me. If you enjoyed this journey into the depths of ancient myth, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join me as we continue exploring the timeless world of Greek mythology, where even gods must face truths they cannot escape. See you again soon. In realms where light, shadow, and the underworld all whisper stories that never fade.